To give you an idea of how cold it is out here, we cut an orange in half. This side we left inside our live truck, and as you can see, squeezes pretty easily. This side we left out here for about 2 hours, and as you can hear, solid as a rock. This is how they're labeling street signs here because many of them have been blown away. For every dollar it takes in from homeowners, about 35 cents of that goes towards paying healthcare costs for current workers as well as retirees. And certainly a developing situation here in Burlington. Will take you right to the activity. You can see over my left shoulder dozens of emergency responder vehicles literally bumper to bumper. We know a Milwaukee police officer is on administrative duty as this investigation continues.
Had a semi-automatic pistol.
After shots echoed through a hospital hallway, staff, patients, and visitors filed out. A dangerous struggle took place on the 7th floor of Children's Hospital, resulting in a potentially deadly discharge.
One officer fired twice.
Police shot 22-year-old Ashanti Hendricks after investigators say he ran from them while carrying a gun. Cops got a tip a man with a firearm was at the hospital. Police say they approached the 22-year-old. He was holding a baby with the mother nearby and began to talk to him.
Put the infant down and began to leave the scene with them.
Appeared to want to cooperate in being taken into custody.
He started to struggle with police and fled.
And while fleeing, produced a handgun.
Subject turned on the officers with a .40 caliber Glock semi-automatic pistol.
A 27-year-old officer shot Hendricks. Chase spanned about 60 to 90 feet, lasting only moments, leaving many questions.
What's this idiot doing in a neonatal care unit with a handgun?
It is not the first time Hendricks has been accused of fleeing, being a felon in possession of a firearm. Back in December of 2012, investigators say he drove off from a traffic stop, crashing his silver Plymouth in the area of 60th and Congress. He's then accused of running away even after he was tased, breaking into a home and trying to hide in a garage. Police say they later found a gun in his car.
Officers are fine, baby's fine, mom's fine.
Many of the crash victims coming to this hospital for their treatment. Hospital personnel tells us that they brought in additional staff to deal with all of these accidents.
There's a number of individuals with broken bones.
People on stretchers were accompanied by cars on flatbeds along a 2-mile stretch of Interstate 94. Combination of weather and speeds too fast for conditions resulted in one person killed and dozens injured when a blanket of snow acted more like a blindfold.
It was hard to see.
There were literally bumper cars.
It was a whiteout.
Cars going off the road. There were jackknife semi-trucks.
It was terrible. As soon as I touched the brakes, I started sliding sideways.
Matt Leach was at the front of the pileup, heard the cascade of colliding cars. He managed to avoid the dangerous chain reaction taking place behind him.
We were able to stop, but unfortunately people behind them weren't able to.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victim's family.
Racine County Sheriff Christopher Schmeling says a man was killed in the pileup. He estimates about 60 crashes took place in the county, half on the interstate. A portion was shut down for most of the day so cars and the injured could be tended to, including one of his own deputies,
who slipped and fell on the interstate and had to be transported to the hospital.
But getting ambulances in proved difficult. Doctors say at times more than one patient had to be transported per vehicle due to conditions and the chaos created by the wreckage of gridlock. Hospitals in Franklin and Racine report tending to 50 patients, most with minor injuries.
This car's totaled. This is $25,000 in damage.
One of the sheriff's squads was rammed by a driver going too fast for the terrain. Fortunately, the deputy and person inside were out of harm's way when the impact occurred, one of many collisions caused by the weather and speed.
If you must travel, you need to slow down and allow yourself enough time to stop.
We came over to say a prayer for him.
A 2004 Jeep Liberty came to rest after it violently hit a tree in the median off of Capitol near Hopkins.
We kind of taking it hard. We trying to see what's going to go on.
Friends like Eulandis Turner stopped by to remember the life of 16-year-old Darian Thomas. Police say Thomas was inside the SUV during the fatal impact, but the Jeep wasn't his.
I just seen it on the news, and it was our truck.
This man didn't want to show his face on camera. He says it was his Jeep that was taken from his driveway in the neighborhood of Fairmount and 51st Boulevard. He turned the SUV on to warm it up and went inside, then believes some teens, including Thomas, took it for a joyride.
It breaks my heart that this little kid is dead. I don't give a damn about the truck.
The car's owner has insurance, but he also has an unusual connection to this case.
I've stolen cars when I was a kid. I did the same kind of stuff. God just blessed me and didn't kill me. They young, just running wild. You know, you gotta get time to mature. And sorry for my friend Darian, he didn't get that chance.
A death caused in part by the impulse of youth and the set of choices making an impact far beyond a crash scene.
Mom's been taking it real hard. I mean, I don't know. My heart is broken for your baby.
Now, Thomas's family believes that he was a passenger in the vehicle and not the driver. There are a lot of details we just simply don't know at this time. Milwaukee Police Department continues its investigation. The sounds of roads and interstates this weekend were accompanied by the sights of deputy squad lights.
It was the worst experience of my life.
What happened on the interstate forced 40-year-old Rafael Rosales into a Milwaukee County jail cell. He's angry about the way law enforcement handled his arrest, but equally frustrated by his own decisions.
I was at my cousin's house. We had a couple beers, and
How much did you drink?
at that time, I had about 6 beers.
Should you have been on the road?
No, I shouldn't have been on the road.
But Rosales went for a drive. Sheriff's deputies say they caught up to him on I-94 early Saturday morning.
I was driving about 60. You know,
Sheriff's deputies say more than 80.
I don't know. I don't remember. You know, I was drunk. I was driving. You know, I shouldn't have been behind the wheel. It was my negligence. I take responsibility for that.
16 others were also pulled over. Law enforcement says 39-year-old Amy Berger was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence with a 9-year-old child in the car. Deputies say 34-year-old Nicholas Glover was accused of DUI a 6th time while in a stolen car. And 37-year-old Paul Porter was arrested for his 5th time when Rosales was asked if he's fortunate to be alive following his drive.
I'm so grateful. My mother always told me, she said, I'd rather see you in prison than to see anybody dead. And, you know, I feel her sentiments, exactly, you know what I'm saying?
Deputies say it's his 4th arrest.
I knew I shouldn't have got behind the wheel.
What's to say you're not going to do this again?
The reality is that it's time for me to change my life, man. I'm 40 years old, man. I'm not getting any younger. And it comes to this point where if I catch a 5th DWI, I know the judge is going to be lenient to me. He's going to throw a book at me.
Now, he made an effort to contact everyone who is accused in that story. Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputies tell us last year alone, they issued more than 960 citations for drunk driving. When you no longer have a flagpole, you find another way to hang Old Glory.
There is no sign.
When you've lost most of your street signs, you find another way to mark where you live when you have no change of clothing.
And we got socks, underwear, t-shirts.
You find whatever you can.
Let's see, I got some jeans and my Walmart jeans.
Jennifer Mendoza is one of hundreds in Washington, Illinois, who lost their home to a tornado.
It's a little overwhelming when you see it for the first time. I had to prepare my brother and my sister when they were coming in.
The family helps with the enormous task of sorting and cleaning what remains.
I cry over the overwhelming help. You know, just from strangers even. It's great here. I mean, it's a sunny day. It's a good day to clean up. So
we've been sorting through multiple houses over the last couple days.
Joshua Mason and his father don't even live here. They're helping a friend
Because his wife is pregnant
who's about to need even more help.
and ready to blow.
They salvage what remains inside a home with a view no one ever wanted to see. X marks the spot of so much destruction, but also so much cooperation.
Nah, he's just my friend. Has been since junior high. It seems like we'll be all right. There's enough people around. We'll get through it.
Many in this neighborhood do have homeowners insurance. They cannot say the same for those renting in apartment complexes nearby. At a time when a family is looking for any kind of warmth, a group huddles together in support at a Milwaukee street corner. They remove some snow, add symbols of sorrow.
And I'm going to ask everybody to gather around.
But the steps Judith Gill takes towards this vigil are some of the most painful she may ever make.
Lord, we thank you for the laughter that he gave us, the joy that he brought into all of our hearts.
Gill's grandson, 23-year-old Walter Harden Jr., was shot and killed Friday.
God, we thank you for the time that we had with him.
The family calls the murder a senseless act of violence. Describing a car pulling next to Harden's near the stop sign at 40th and Hampton, words were exchanged, shots followed. Harden drove off to a nearby intersection, striking several cars.
please, just please come
Lord.
The 23-year-old sister barely found the words, asking for help finding the person who pulled the trigger.
We ask you to bless his children and his mate in the name of Jesus.
Not only did they take a fiance, they took a brother, a son, a father, everything. For what?
Hardin planned to marry his fiancée next year. She had plans for their 3-year-old
We gotta live better.
and baby on the way.
Now I have a child in my stomach that's not gonna know who their dad is.
A group searching for comfort and any kind of answers.
It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
With enough water, you can make a pond or a lake.
Then we'll start running a hose from here.
Or a mess.
Oh, well, it's still pumping.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
The problem off of Water Street is too much water.
How about the other one?
Jacob Tibbetts works with generators and pumps to turn a pool back into a parking lot.
They had a pipe break on the first floor.
He believes a 3-inch pipe and hours of gushing water are responsible for feet of flooding on the ground floor and garage. We Energy says the flow of water stopped the flow of electricity for a time, leaving hundreds in the 3rd Ward without power, shorting out traffic lights.
Nobody likes to go through this, but you know, it could be a lot worse.
3 cars in this garage look more like a school of fish. The vehicle, with its lights on, barely manages to keep its cylinder head above water.
Maybe it was shorting out, so I guess it's flooded and fried now.
Lisa Fauster may have lost her PT Cruiser, but hasn't lost her sense of humor.
Flounder works, I guess so, PT Flounder.
The building's owner says it hosts 5 tenants above street level, totaling about 70 workers. But the most important business here is trying out a building with too much water along Water Street. Now, the car's owner as well as the building's owner both tell us that they do have insurance. Now, as for the businesses inside the building behind me being open on Monday, it's unclear if that's going to happen. And the reason is We Energies tells us they have to inspect the equipment. A private electrician needs to stop by to take a look at wiring, and a city inspector needs to stop by as well.
That noise was odd.
It was not the cinematic surround sound drawing sturtevant crowds Saturday night.
And I heard this crazy crash.
It was the noise by a theater's retention pond.
It was a boom.
Luring Kelly Skaggs and others outside.
Well, you had all me and my buddies up front watching this.
From the depths of this water, a tow truck eventually removed a 2003 Ford Mustang. The muddy bottom still caked on the tires, water dripping inside the lights, debris hanging from the running boards. A dive team found the vehicle completely underwater.
It was just glass. You couldn't see anything.
Police eventually located the people once inside the car. Investigators say 38-year-old Sheila Bell was behind the wheel.
Not good.
Police say she was with a 13 and 9-year-old.
Sad, but I mean, just glad nobody was hurt. That's all we kept saying.
Inside the Mustang, we caught a glimpse of a bottle of prescription medication, along with a can of Bud Light Lime Strawberryta. Investigators believe items like those may have led this horse to water.
Just stupid. Just absolutely stupid.
Sturtevant police say it is the second time Bell has been accused of OWI. Seen outside a movie theater with real-life drama and consequences.
Hope the best for her kids.
Police are asking for the district attorney's office to consider 3 separate charges in this matter. 2 are felony counts. In Sturtevant, Jeremy Ross, Fox 6 News. Police pulled over a car in the area of Burleigh and 36th Saturday. The 2013 gray Hyundai Elantra may have stopped. The driver did not.
They told me a guy jumped out and ran.
We're not showing this man's face on camera, but we can show you the driver's image. 37-year-old Akilla Crittenden is accused of running from police. He's facing 3 charges, including being a felon in possession of a firearm. But on Milwaukee streets, investigators say Crittenden is known by the nickname Kill. Prosecutors say he's the leader of the gang, the Murder Mob.
It strikes terror. I remember years ago that they were into a lot of killings and stuff on the north side.
Back in 2008, gang warfare involving the Murder Mob took the lives of 4 people. Police tape stretched across the area of 28th and Wright. Investigators didn't call Crittenden a suspect in that crime, but did question him. In a search warrant filed after last weekend's traffic stop, investigators said the 37-year-old set up safe houses to hide gang members. Court documents show the Murder Mob was connected to homicides, drugs, hundreds of armed robberies, and threats to kill police officers.
You don't want these type of people on the street.
But this high-profile arrest began with a low-level offense. Police say they initially pulled Crittenden over because he wasn't wearing his seatbelt.
Really? That's crazy.
The chase for the 37-year-old ended inside this O'Reilly's Auto Parts store. Police caught up with Crittenden and say he tried hiding his loaded gun in a shelving unit behind a bottle of motor oil.
That's still scary, but at least you get one bad guy off of the street for now.
If convicted on all these recent charges, Crittenden faces more than 10 years in prison. You're about to hear the two most comforting words one family may ever hear.
Catherine's safe.
Investigators learned 15-year-old Catherine Stolbaum asked a police officer for help while she was in Chicago Friday evening. That ended days of law enforcement searching, loved ones fearing she could remain missing. Tuesday morning, the Kettle Moraine freshman may have missed the bus to school and tried biking there. She never made it to class. Wednesday, a neighbor noticed something in these rose bushes. Police were called, and they found Stolbaum's blue Schwinn bicycle seemingly tossed in the shrubs and discarded. Investigators began the time-consuming process of checking video surveillance at Waukesha Memorial Hospital and places nearby, enlisting the help of the U.S. Marshals and the FBI. They received more than 200 tips in their search, but no substantial leads. That is until Friday night, when the teen who seemed to vanish in a puff of smoke reappeared in the Windy City. Police don't know how or why she was there, if she traveled there on her own or against her will. All they know is she's safe.
She appears to be in good physical condition. Her family has been notified. She's had an opportunity to speak with her parents. They are elated that Catherine is safe.
A battery of law enforcement officials as well as specialists are expected to speak with her this evening. They may have already gone through the process. After that interview has taken place, they're hoping to reunite the teen with her family, and that could take place as early as this evening. For about a week, the traffic outside this Northside apartment complex was without a 2010 Mazda 3. Monday, it's back where it belongs. We can't say the same for its owner's sense of security.
Kind of scared.
She asked we not show her identity.
Nervous because I don't want it to happen again.
This car was a college gift given to her by her father. She says Sunday, September 29th, it was taken by force.
And he's like this, walking up towards me.
She tossed her purse to the attacker. He would eventually get her keys and the car.
I did not believe people when they said that their whole life flashed in front of their eyes. My life flashed in front of my eyes.
Investigators say 17-year-olds Dakaris Fluker and Gary Winters Jr. played roles in the armed robbery but didn't stop at just one. They're accused of a rash of similar crimes beginning September 20th through an attempted armed robbery taking place on the 30th in this Northside neighborhood. That's where a woman saw a suspicious vehicle in an alley. She felt threatened, called her husband, who happened to be a Milwaukee police captain. The officer yelled, "Milwaukee police," at the man by the suspicious car. Court documents say the officer saw Fluker raise his hand, possibly with a gun, and the officer fired 3 times.
That's what that was. One of them hit my car.
One of the shots apparently hit the victim's stolen Mazda. 2 accused robbers were caught shortly after the gunfire. The car was returned to its owner, but that's not all that was taken.
They took my sanity for right now.
Fluker faces 4 charges. Winters Jr. faces 3. All of them are felony counts.